Hello, everyone. Please let me know if we are live because, yeah, don't want to be sitting around here or looking really awkward as I usually do. Maybe I'll reposition. And is the audio okay? Perfect. Thank you, Zoltan. Okay, also, so before we begin, just want to mention a few things. First of all, we had a super chat from Zoltan Chive. Zoltan, you're such a legend. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. And other than that, we also have loads of legends in the chat. We have 444, such a legend. And yes, for those who don't know, 444 means 444. And so, it's kind of poetic that in a year I got 44k subs, and one of my longest and most loyal supporters was is the name 444. We also have Cal. Cal is one of my favorite subscribers. He's such a legend as well. Been supporting me for like at least 6 months at this point, and you disappeared for a while, but it's good to have you back. Oh my gosh, Kevin, such a legend as well. It's actually so nice to see all like familiar and new faces here as well, because oh my god, Steve Canada, who literally found me. I think Steve, correct me, but I think Steve literally found me. Was it from my second video, which is so bad, you should not watch it, but Steve did. And for some reason Steve decided to stick around. Shout out to your mom, Steve. Hope she's doing okay, and that your appointment went well. Also want to shout out Bookmark. He started a channel recently. You guys should absolutely go and check him out. Okay, guys, this is how it's gonna work. Okay, this is the 1 year anniversary kind of stream. Okay, so I do kind of want to fly through the slideshow. I feel like I say that every single time and then it never happens, but we're going to try to run through the slideshow, and then we're going to try to do like a question box in the comments with Maya, and you can ask any questions you have for me, like a Q&A, kind of like a live Q&A, whether it's channel statistics, advice, my thoughts on whatever it is you want. And Maya, I'll leave it up to her to decide how exactly it's going to work, but Maya is going to be doing the questions. Okay, perfect. Oh, Cal, you cannot ask that question. You already know my answer. Anyway, what else did I want to mention? Oh yes, so I know that we're coming to you again from a potato, aka my computer, but it's okay because I am currently working on doing my Ireland setup, because when I'm in Poland, it's very nice, it's very chill. I have my books. Here I have Claudia, the channel mascot. For the newcomers, you might not know her, but yes, this is Claudia. And you might be like, Vera, what is this? I was working an hour ago actually on doing my setup. I was setting up my setup. And so hopefully the next time that you see me, you will have a proper setup. Now, is it gonna be like very professional? Guys, you know this channel. You know this channel. Also, Claudia spelled with a K, because Polska górą, right? Anyway, but you might be like, Vera, what is she sitting on? I'm so glad you asked. Thanks to you guys and the amazing support that I received on the Witcher videos, and just in general, like even my Sanderson and Best Books of 2024 videos significantly outperformed all of my previous videos. So thanks to that, I was able to invest in lighting. Woo. Um, Shout out to John from no, not John, Jacob from Talking Story, because I was texting him like all the time, being like, "Is this realistic? Like, is this like a real company? Is this good lighting?" So he helped me decide on the lighting, and so I'll have those facing me. So that means I can film more often because I'm not reliant anymore on sunlight. So that means you can get videos now, and I'm aiming for once a week. I'm aiming for once a week. Okay. What else do I need to say? Okay. Question box will be later. Let's continue on into the wrap up. Oh no. All right. So what did I read this month? We started off with Niezwyciężony by Stanisław Lem. In English, this translate. Oh wait, Claudia is the main character of this channel. She needs to be. Yeah, okay. Claudia has to be front and center, okay? Or at least to the side. So, yeah. So Claudia, oh, her eyes. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Um, I started off with this book. It translates to Niezwyciężony in English. It is essentially about this planet and this crew of this ship called the Invincible, and they land on this planet called Regis, and or in English, Regis. And you know, as a Witcher fan, I was like, oh, it's not at all, you know, related to The Witcher, but just, you know, as a fan, I was like, oh, hello, I see ya. Anyway, and they crash land on this planet, the Invincible, just clarifying the name. But they land on this planet, and they had this other ship called the Condor, and the Condor landed before them, but they don't have any sort of connection with them, and they're like, well, what the heck happened to the Condor? They can't find the Condor. And so it starts off with this mystery of the planet doesn't have any life on it either, even though based on its position it should. And so the start of this book really reads like, it really reads like almost like a thriller book. It's so oh my god, did I say, oh, I'm actually so stupid. It translates to the Invincible in English. I am so sorry. Ugh. But yeah, and so the first part of this book really is kind of like a sci-fi thriller, trying to figure out what went on with the Condor, what's going on this planet. And it's so interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but the fact that like Lem in the 60s in Poland was able to think of these technologies that we are trying to develop today, it's really mind-boggling. And I was also shocked that the characters are actual characters. Like PTSD in the 60s in a hard sci-fi novel. Are you kidding me? Crazy, but so good. So I really do highly recommend this. Okay, next book that I read was Rozdroże Kruków. I don't want to stick on this one too much. You have my video on it. I think it's really good. I don't think it's as good as the series, like the core saga, but like I love it either way. And highly recommend. I can't wait for you guys to read it too. And we need to chat about the ending because I am mixed on some of the actions that Geralt takes. But you have an entire video for that. Next, I hate this book. The Wind Up Bird Chronicle by Murakami, more like the Wind Up Wera Chronicle, because I was just constantly being wound up more and more and more. But I do have a Murakami video coming. So it is still coming, I promise, much like the characters in his book. But I'm sorry, I don't know if that gets me demonetized. I don't hate all of Murakami, though. I don't hate all of Murakami, but you'll find out in the book, or you'll find out in the video, or if you watch my previous Veras in Reverie. So I have feelings. I was raging. This book took years off of my life. So yeah, we already have a one-star book this year. Woo! Okay, continue. Okay, The Ice Palace. Also, I just like to say, I was so shocked, but all the books that I read this month have been translated works, or like the Polish ones I obviously read in Polish, but just in general, the Murakami. This is translated from the Norwegian. I'm so sorry to the Norwegians in the audience. For the video that I'm planning around this book, I will look up the correct pronunciation, but I was stupid and I didn't do that right now, so I'm very sorry. So I will refrain from trying to pronounce the author's name, but I will search up how to do it properly for the actual video, because I know how annoying it is to have an author's name constantly mispronounced. Shout out to Sapkowski. 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 Okay. But it's fine. Yeah, so this book is beautiful. It's so atmospheric. I think it really proves how important setting is to a novel, and how important atmosphere is, and how those two can really do so much when conveying themes, or making you think about something. I was really, really astounded by this book. I think it would I think it would make an amazing film as well, actually. So highly recommend. But I'm saving my thoughts for the video that I'll be making, kind of centering this book. Okay, next. Oh, The Nutcracker. You might be getting kind of the vibe of what the video that I'm kind of thinking of making with this book and The Nutcracker might be. However, I won't spoil it yet. So this is the original Nutcracker. There's also one by Alexander Dumas, the guy who wrote The Count of Monte Cristo and The Three Musketeers. And by the way, Count of Monte Cristo is one of my favorite books of all time. So you guys should absolutely read it. It's so good. But his version is an adaptation of E.T.A. Hoffman's version. And I liked it, and I mostly read it, I guess, to know the original version of the story. But I know this is going to sound so stupid. I liked the Barbie version more still. So Barbie and the Nutcracker is everything to me, and it wins Best Nutcracker for me. I know that's so dumb. But the thing that's interesting is, I'm kind of speaking as if everyone knows what the Nutcracker is about, but the Nutcracker is, we follow this family, and this girl in the family receives a Nutcracker from like their grandfather, and the Nutcracker is actually a magic individual. I won't spoil it if I won't spoil it if for some chance you don't know what the Nutcracker is about, but I was really surprised that in the text version, I preferred the stuff with the family and the house, and like the less supernatural elements. But like in the Barbie version, I preferred when they like journey into like the magical realm and stuff like that, and they go to the marchipane, or I don't know. I think they call it something different in the Barbie version, but yeah. Anyway, I'm saving my thoughts still for later, and I also want to say I love Tchaikovsky, the composer who did the ballet. Oh yeah, to clarify to my it was a book first, and also this is a children's story, which like I probably should have guessed, but I didn't know. So I think perhaps if you have like a small kid, this would work better for them. But yeah, I think it's really cute, and but Barbie clears, man. Okay, and what am I reading now? I'm gonna talk about the smaller books. Oh, oh no, I screwed it up. Of course I screwed it up. I'm so stupid. Okay, you know what? Okay, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Let me Okay, I screwed it up. Basically, the next book that I was going to show you was going to be Glorious Exploits by Ferdia Lennon, um, who is this Irish author. And it's the book I am currently reading, or rather listening to via audiobook. I haven't made up my mind what I think about it yet. It's definitely very interesting, very literary, but I wonder if it isn't perhaps too focused on being very literary. But I'm saving my thoughts for, well, actually, I don't really have a video planned um, around it, but I'm saving my thoughts for the next Vera and Reverie. But the thing that most of you will be more interested in is that I am, in fact, and I have started the Sword of Destiny, Miecz Przeznaczenia. How far am I? I am literally on chapter 2. I have read 10 pages. Okay, so I know um, I will pick up my speed next week because I have a few assignments that I need to submit before the end of Monday. But then it's all hands on deck, and we are hardcore scripting this. Honestly, it's so funny and it's so good, and already in the very like first, like on page 7, you already get like references to like the basilisk, and I'm going to tell you about the basilisk that used to haunt Warsaw Square, the Warsaw Rynek, or like the old town of Warsaw Town Square. It's one of my favorites, and I'm pretty sure that on page 7 it's like a very clear reference to that, or at least to like a basilisk kind of story. So yeah, I am planning this. I am actively working on it. I will be working on it. I want to finish this by, I want to finish scripting by next week, or at least finish reading through it to script it by next week. We'll see how that goes, but we are actively making progress on this. Okay. Next, I guess we can go back to the slideshow. I'm so sorry for messing this up. But I also started doing this thing maybe 2 months ago, where I also talk about the movies that I have watched this past month, because I want to get, one of my big goals for this year is that I want to get more into cinema. And, you know, my goal was to watch 52 movies by the end of the year. I think I might overshoot that, but at the same time, I don't know, because it's Oscar season and I'm very much into the Oscar race. I think it's very interesting. So yeah, I watched Nosferatu first. I thought it was good. I think Lily Rose Depp really did a fantastic performance. The way she contorts her body was so interesting. I saw that they took inspiration from these images of women that were considered hysterical back in the day. And man, I forgot, this was done at like a hospital, so like this was also very interesting to me. Oh man, I forgot which hospital. It was somewhere in France anyway. But yeah, I was really impressed by her performance. In my opinion, the runtime is very indulgent. They could have done this in 2 hours and it would have been fine. It runs a bit long. But yeah, the cinematography is fantastic. Oh, one thing though, there's a couple of times where there's a jump scare and it's filmed the exact same way. And I was like, come on. Like the first time, I was terrified. Second time, I was like, okay. And then by the third time it happened, I was like, are you serious? Anyway, still, I did really enjoy it. I think I gave it 3 stars or 3.5 maybe. But yeah, follow me on Letterboxd to get my opinion. Next, I watched The Guardian, which is this older movie with Ashton Kutcher, and it is about the Coast Guard and like the swimmers, the rescue swimmers. I know that there's like the fancy name for it. I don't remember what it is, but I I thought it was interesting. I liked how the rescue sequences were filmed, because it was almost reminiscent of, like, a documentary style filmmaking. However, it was so incredibly cliched, and it didn't really move me. Um, so I gave it 2 stars. I see it being like a comfort movie for some people, or like a fun movie just to put on, with friends and stuff, but I don't know, it wasn't what I was looking for, and I felt just overall the camera work could have kind of put you more into the action, and I also really didn't like the ending. So, I'm sorry. Um, Matt Keane says, "I can't believe Ashton Kutcher let you down." Well, he does say "oorah" a million times, and that was funny. But, like, for example, his character's what's it called? Nickname is like Big Fish or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's very on the nose. The best swimmer on the team in a video about in the movie about the Coast Guard, in um, who is like a rescue swimmer. Is his nickname is Big Fish? Like, okay, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay, next I watched Blue Velvet. So I watched Blue Velvet for a very sad reason. And the reason is David Lynch passed away. And Mulholland Drive is probably my favorite movie of all time. I watched it this past year, and just it really shifted my entire perspective on what cinema could be. And I think Lynch uses the format of cinema just in such a way, and he uses all the strengths that cinema has to portray a story, like, in a way that a book can't, or a play can't. He uses, like, some stories, it doesn't matter whether it's a book, a play, a movie, whatever, but Lynch's stories, the way he tells them, I can't imagine, for example, Mulholland Drive being a book, or I can't imagine it being a play. And same, just the way he uses the medium is amazing. Um, and I I have to say the same about Blue Velvet. It was very beautiful, and I think we lost such an artist. And I want to watch all of his movies. If you guys, I don't know which one to watch next, though. I kind of am thinking about maybe Wild at Heart, maybe Eraserhead, just to see where he came from. But yeah, such a visionary, and he his loss was definitely, I think, felt. Then I watched A Real Pain, back to the Oscar movies. Um, and I really liked it. I thought it was, like, really, really beautiful. There was one thing that kind of triggered me, but I guess it's fine in the context, because they're talking about, World War II, post World War II, and, like, concentration camps and stuff like that. And at the start of the movie, the tour guide is like, "Ah, yes, I am an expert in Eastern European studies," or whatever. And I'm like, shut up. Anyway, but okay, this time it gets a pass. It gets a pass because, you know, this entire concept of Poland is Eastern European truly, like, originated, and maybe not originated, but it was definitely popularized, post World War II, and with the Warsaw Pact and everything like that. 444 is, I know, like, prepping up to, like, write an entire essay about this right now, and in the comments, but probably saying I'm wrong, but but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And anyway, so I was, like, kind of triggered at the start, but then I was like, you know what? In the context of World War II, that's fine, so it gets a pass. It gets a pass. And they, I think it's a very interesting story. about these two cousins. I think Kieran Culkin did a fantastic job, and I think I want him to win Best Supporting Actor. Also, we have a comment here. As a Czech person, I 100% support your Eastern Europe rant. 100, yeah. Like I think it's so unfair that Czechia, Slovakia, Poland, Hungary, we get lumped into Eastern Europe. And okay, but like, first of all, we aren't orthodox, like as countries, as like cultures, in the country. I'm not saying like person to person, like personally I'm atheist, but like, as a as a culture, we are not orthodox. We don't use the Cyrillic alphabet. It's we had the Renaissance and oświecenie, I don't enlightenment, and I think it's really unfair that like all those years of our history are just lumped into, oh, but you're basically the same as Eastern Europe. And maybe it's just because like my grandparents were quite passionate about this, especially my grandfather from my mom's side. But it's really disheartening. And like Polish actors, whenever they're hired by like US companies and stuff, like in Hawkeye, it's they play like the evil Russians or whatever, and because like it's the stereotype that, oh yeah, the evil East or whatever. And I think it's so unfair that our history is said, oh well, you're basically the same as Russia, or you're basically the same as Eastern Europe, and yeah, I just think it's so incredibly disappointing, because those things that tie Czechia, Slovakia, Poland, Hungary, and separate us from Eastern Europe, it's just said, well, it's not important, and I think I think it's quite offensive, but that's fine. So anyway, moving on back to the movie, that's just a topic I get very passionate about, because like my history is important to me, my culture is important to me, and it's just really disappointing, because like when I hear, oh well, it's actually not important, it's actually just going to lump you in with Eastern Europe because Central Europe doesn't exist or whatever. Like I think that's so incredibly disappointing. And so, I promise I'm finishing this rant. Like the things that really connect us, with Eastern Europe, Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia, and those countries, is that we are all Slavs, and Slavic culture is amazing, right? But there is a difference between the Slavic countries. We are not all the same, and it's just very disheartening when when someone keeps portraying us as the same. Anyway, rant over. Rant over. A Real Pain is a really good movie. You should totally watch it. So many laughs, and so many like heartfelt moments, trying to like connect back with your history, connect and see, there's this interview that I was listening to. It was Dua Lipa, and because she does interviews now with authors. Like she did it with Olga Tokarczuk. She wrote Primeval. She wrote Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, and the Books of Jacob, Księgi Jakubowe. Anyway, she wrote those books, and Dua Lipa did an interview with her, but she also did an interview with this other author who, oh my gosh, I don't remember the name, but he wrote a book, Swimming in the Dark? Something like that. I don't remember, but he talks, but I think it's about, I believe the author has like a Polish Jewish background, and he talks about how when he went back to Poland, because he grew up in Berlin, that when he went back there, he just felt like this loss, like there was something lost in the country. And like then he thought about it a bit more, and he was like, well, there is, you know, like this entire population that was murdered. And I think that it is, you do really feel it, especially if you go around, you know, like the Jewish quarters and, you know, Kazimierz in like Kraków, or, you know, around like the Lublin area. And in the movie, they visit Majdanek, and I actually visited that camp as well. And the day I visited, it, truly, it's one of the most intense things I think you can go through, because it's just, it's so evil, and it's so heartbreaking. And something that I really appreciated that Jesse Eisenberg showed was, and this is something that really touched me as well, was when you go to the gas chambers and you see the staining on the wall, and it's the staining from the substance that they used to kill all those people. It really shows you that it, man, it's really hard for me to talk about, because I don't know if I should say this, but my great grandfather and I was his favorite granddaughter, and I have amazing, amazing memories of him. But he was in Auschwitz, and when I was visiting Majdanek, I just it was really difficult for me, because like I really, really loved my great grandfather. And you know what? I'm just gonna move on, because I don't want this stream to become a stream about this. But it was very intense, and I think that this movie really didn't Hollywoodify it, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna move on. Oh my gosh, you know what? Before we, sorry, I don't want to talk about this right now. We're gonna, I missed some super chats, so I'll go back to the super chats. We have one from 3D Ketchup, a long-term supporter. He says, driving but looking forward to listening in. Thank you. I'm so sorry for being so depressing and stuff, but anyway. And one from Kevin Tran. I love you, Kevin. Thank you so much for being so supportive as well. Gonna leave before the question portion. Maya said she's not a reader. What have you convinced her to read? Have you read any Louis Borges? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Basically, what have I convinced Maya to read? Oh, can I claim that I convinced Maya to read Dune? I don't know if I can claim that, but she did read Dune, and we did discuss it. And I have not read that author yet. I'm so sorry. But Maya, maybe you can answer as well. What I convinced you to read, I'm not too sure. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Emilia Perez. Sorry, I'm still shaking. Emilia Perez is not a good movie. It's just not. I think like one song, Mi Camino, is not as bad as the rest, but it's not great. I highly recommend you search up Johann Sacre Bleu, or I'm sure someone is gonna write this in the comment section. But there's this parody that these people from Mexico made in response to this movie, and it is so funny, because they're like, oh, so this French guy can come in and represent our culture like this. Okay, we're gonna make Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir, and they're gonna be fighting in the background, and they're and they're gonna be constantly talking about baguettes, and every single character is gonna have like the twirly mustache, and there will be rats, like, you know, moving people around, um, like Ratatouille, and I just I thought it was so funny. So, and fair enough as a response. I don't think this is a very good movie. So, I think most people already talked about it, so I will move on. Challengers, on the other hand, is an incredible movie. 2 seconds, let me drink because I'm getting a bit of a headache. Kind of like you guys when you listen to me. Sorry. Hopefully not. Jeez. Challengers is so good. I do not know why I didn't watch it before. The fact that it has no nominations is insane to me. Actually, gonna sue the Academy. No, I'm not. But it's so good. The score, the way the score just accentuates all the emotions, and I was actively stressing. I was stressing when I was watching it because, like the score was just so good. Also, this is the cinematography in this incredible. One of like the best shots in the movie is where where we get the POV of the tennis ball. I have no words. This is how love triangles this is how love triangles should be done in my experience, in my opinion. It's about tennis, it's about yearning, it's about desire, it's about desire for another person, but desire to succeed. Um, just incredible. Incredible. I cannot believe that Amelia Perez is nominated, and this is not. So, moving on to The Brutalist. Okay, I need more water because my headache is getting worse. I have migraines. So I get migraines, and when I get migraines, I lose my vision, or rather, like I get like parts of my vision that kind of disappear. And so if I am not able to read comments or something like that, then if I get a migraine, then that might be why. I'm getting a similar onset that I do when I get those migraines where I lose my vision. And I don't have any painkillers with me. Cheers. Just gonna drink water. Thank you so much for bearing with me, by the way. Oh my gosh. The Brutalist was incredible. I was so hesitant because it's 3.5 hours. Does a movie have to be 3.5 hours? Does a book have to be 1,350 pages? Well, well, if it earns that length, yes. And when I finished The Brutalist, I walked out of the theater. Also, I was in this like really nice art house screening theater, and it was my first time there. I didn't even know that it like existed. I'm gonna actually lower how bright my screen is because sometimes that helps alleviate the pain. But when I left the screening theater, I was shocked, and my only thought, because I wasn't able to form a coherent thought, the only thought that I had was that I want to go back in there and watch it all from the start again, another 3.5 hours, because I don't think I can process everything that happened in one screening. And this movie 100% earns the 3.5 hours. I think it's structured so interestingly where you have the first half, and it's called The Enigma of Arrival. Then you have the second part, which is the hard space core of love, of art, one of the two. And then you have the epilogue. And I I'm amazed at everything in this movie. And that's coming from someone who thinks that brutalism is a crime against humanity. I think brutalism is a crime against humanity. And I actually thought that this was a movie based on an actual person, like a true story, and it wasn't. And when I left, I was trying to search up Ershebet and Zsofia and Laszlo, and I couldn't. And I just saw it 2 nights ago, and to be honest, I I still can't really formulate my thoughts on it, but I want to see it again. I really I loved it. I really loved it. So just going to move on now. So, by the way, highly recommend. You should 100% go see this movie. Do not be scared by the 3.5 hour runtime. I was scared. This was also the first movie that I went and I saw by myself. I loved my experience of this movie. Oh my god, this is where I put Glorious Exploits? Are you kidding me? I'm actually so stupid. I'm so sorry. Anyway, my plans for for February. The books are the same. Oh my god, in my head. Did I just say the books are the same? The videos that I'm planning are the same as I planned for January. Basically, it was very gray and very dark, and I was on hospital placement, and so I wasn't really available most of the day. And since I was daylight dependent, I wasn't able to film in the afternoons. Now that I have lights, I will be able to film in the afternoons. Now that I'm not on hospital placement, I will not have to wait till the afternoon to film. Oh god, sorry, my headache's really getting really bad, but it's okay. So if I seem a bit scatterbrained, that's why. But so the videos are the same. I just shifted them to February because I really, really, really want to make all those videos. Okay. And that's it for the slideshow. How do I get rid of it? Okay, here. Okay, so now we're going to do a Q&A. Q&A. Maya, I believe, had you guys do questions with the heart, with the red dot at the start. So I'll scroll back and put them there. And Maya, if you want to like copy and paste some of the, or if you have been copy and pasting and saving the questions and you want to paste them in at the end, let me know. But I'm going to try to scroll back to the start of the questions. Okay. Zoltan Chive, the first one. Okay. Are you going to be doing more lives and maybe even streaming stuff on Twitch or something? Also, can we get a subscription on YouTube, like a monthly thing where we get some cool emojis and stuff? Okay, so these are actually really great questions. So I won't be doing like video game streams because I'm not really interested in that. I don't think that I'm really that interesting to watch. Because I would be scared that I'm not providing enough entertainment. That's one thing. Another thing is I'm awful at combat. I'm awful at combat, and I know I'd get bullied. So I like my mental health is fragile at certain points in the year. So I just don't want to get bullied for being bad at combat. And also, I think that if I'd be, playing the game for other people's entertainment as well, then I wouldn't be able to get as immersed in the game as I'd like to be. But I don't know. I'll build on that a bit in a second. And then the other thing is that, oh yeah, the subscription on YouTube and stuff. So I'm thinking of doing a Patreon, but I really like what the Two to Ramble guys do, where they only have one tier You get everything in the tier. Discord access, they do a book club. I can't do a book club. I don't have time. But I was thinking of a movie club where like we could do like two movies and then discussion afterwards, like on Discord or something. But I don't know if people would be interested in that. But the Two to Rumble guys have the one tier for $10. And my kind of question is, how can I make that price tag worth it? Because I want to do it once, but I want to do it well, you know? We'll see. We'll see. And subscription on YouTube for the emojis and stuff. I actually haven't looked into YouTube memberships at all. If I do YouTube memberships, then I'd want them to be cheap. So I don't know. I'd need to read up on that. So I hope that answers the question. But it was a really good question. We have a question, favorite Barbie movie, and why is it The Princess and the Pauper? So it's actually not The Princess and the Pauper. My favorite Barbie movie is The Magic of the Pegasus, Magia Pegasa anyway. And yeah, I really love the ice skating. Maybe that's why I really like that one scene in the Tower of the Swallow. But I really love the ice skating and the ice and the magic and the cloud palace, and I love that one. I love that one. Steve, how has 1 year of making videos changed your life/lifestyle? It has not at all. The only thing that has changed is that just now I get to talk with people about the books that I'm reading, and that I need to spend time actually recording and editing and doing all that stuff. But I'm hoping that this year I can start to offload some of the editing. So, oh, sorry, I almost knocked off my mic. Okay. Cal, what event in Polish history do you think deserves more attention in academics or storytelling? I don't know. Like I think a lot of people really focus on World War II, and I'm not saying it's not important. It's obviously very, very important, but that's not the totality of Polish history. And like, guys, we had elected kings. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we also had all the tribes, and we have a bunch of like skanseny, which you can go and visit and stuff, which kind of recreate kind of like more medieval Poland. And Jan III Sobieski was this king, the one that thought of the Hussar army, the knights with the wings. And like, I think that's so iconic, and not as many people know about it as they should. So yeah, I hope that sort of answers the question. Next. Have you ever considered reading graphic novels like Mouse or the Bone series? So I'm not familiar with the Bone series. I do know Mouse. It was actually mandatory reading in school for me, and I liked it, but I don't think graphic novels are my thing. Or at least I haven't really read one that captivated me the way that like prose books do, or movies, I guess, now recently. So yeah. Moving down. Okay. Cal, I'm not answering this question. And question here, Sword of Destiny recap in February. That is the plan, hopefully. Hi Vera, new channel fan here. How do you control rolling your R's so well in English? Knowing how reliant the Gural accent is on them. So first of all, I'm not actually from the Gural region. I am from Warsaw. So yeah. But I started learning English when I was 4 on my 4th birthday, actually, we moved to the UK, and even after moving back to Poland, I stayed in the international school system, and so that's how I got my accent. Um, but my tongue does sometimes, flip in on itself and not work, as I'm sure you've noticed many times during Vera's in Reverie. Yeah, I gamer. We are not doing this. No. Do you think the discourse about Witcher 4 is stupid? Well, I wouldn't call any. I don't want to call things stupid. I do think at this point, it's the word that I would use is unfair, because, like, Cyberpunk 2077, even though it had a rough launch, right now people love it, and I've only heard great things about Phantom Liberty. Um, and so I think that CDPR is a studio that has earned our trust. And guys, this is a preview trailer. We don't know anything. And so I think any hate and stuff is premature and unfair. I think hate is different to discourse. So, I think hate is unfair at the moment, and bad. I think if people actually talk about it in a respectful, constructive, whether constructive, critical way, even, I think that's the most important. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm gonna do. Oh wait, I want to find the super chats before they run out. Sorry, they basically the super chats I have from my screen. I have a separate screen that or a separate tab that shows me the super chats, and so it's easy for me to pick up on them, and that's why I can see when they occur. So I want to make sure I don't miss any. From Reed, shout out to you. Thank you so much for sticking around. I love, love, love Reed. From Headache Meds. Thank you so much. Actually, Ireland is crazy when it comes to the cost of medication. Okay, as like people in the US, you guys have to pay so much more for healthcare. I actually have nothing to complain about. But like in Poland, there are these 100 packs of APAP or Nurofen or whatever. So like think aspirin and Tylenol, I believe that you call it. Maybe, I'm not sure, but and they are so cheap. And then in Ireland, you go to the pharmacy and they only sell you. This is my like used up pack, but they sell you 12 and then they charge you like crazy amounts, and I think it's so unfair. Anyway, not a fan. And we also have one from, I will try to pronounce, Subutai Noyan. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, this is so hard for me to pronounce. Sokolu Mehmed, an Ottoman Grand Vizier, once arranged the brother of a French king to be elected in Polish throne, but the guy couldn't remain as king there and left for France. I read this in an article. Poland is unique. Yeah, I mean, if we did have elected kings for a while there after the Jagiellonian dynasty, I believe. Is that what they were called? Because we had the Piast and at the start, and then we had Jagiełło and Jadwiga, and then they're kind of further, and then they're anyway, and then we had the elected kings at the end. Oh my gosh, I need to find the question box now. Okay. So many questions. Okay. I'll try to be a bit faster. Is there something that you can read that instantly causes you to drop and DNF the book? No, because I like to give books a chance. I'm actually slow to DNF things as well, or else I would have DNF'd the Wind Up Bird Chronicle much sooner. Have you ever thought of writing your own stories or books or becoming a self-published author? I have, but this would definitely be something for after I get my medical degree. Also, thanks Cody for being here. You're a pretty long supporter of the channel as well, so sending love. Actually, I also love this so much because it's so much harder for me now to keep up with the comments, whereas here, where it's just one discussion, I love it so much, you know. Has your opinion of Malazan changed since you first read it? Do you think you'll keep going with the series? I will keep going with the series. I'm extremely burnt out on fantasy at the moment. So I don't know when it will happen. But I do have, my friend Luke was so kind and he sent me the next few books. And so I definitely will be reading Dead House Gates at a certain point. But Farseer and Southern Reach really burnt me out on, like, you know, heavy sci-fi fantasy. And if I read any of it at the moment, I know I'll hate it. So seeing the updates on subscribers stemming from your Witcher videos, do you plan on course shifting away from the novel content you currently have a passion for into European folk tales and such? Nope, this is a book channel. We are staying a book channel, and you know, perhaps we will dive into more cinema and stuff, but at its core, this is a book channel. Like, I'm thinking of starting a, you know how I read authors, I read or I read subgenres, I read series. I'm thinking of doing an I watch sort of thing, and then doing one for like the Oscar movies and maybe, you know, David Lynch films and Luca Guadagnino. I'm so sorry, I know I mispronounced that, but doing it kind of that way as well, because I'm really discovering the cinematic world at the moment, and I'm really liking it. But the core of this channel will always be book stuff. Witcher playthrough could be interesting, though. No, I don't think so. I think, like, what can I add that has not already been said? I don't think I'm particularly funny. I don't think I'd be interesting to watch. Like, I really don't. I think, like, if you want cool lore videos, there's so many channels for that, and I don't think I can really add anything. I don't really think I can add anything interesting to the conversation. Why red circle? Oh, that's for Maya. Gerald! Guys, okay, this is, I need to speak to people, to all of you, because stop impersonating Gerald, okay? Gerald's identity has been attempted to be stolen in the past 2 videos. Yeah. Yeah. Gerald, I got you, bro. I got you, bro. Hey, Vera. It's been some years since I read something from a book, and I fear losing that side of mine. What kind of advice would you have for someone who wants to begin reading again? Maybe look at what kind of drives you, you know, in your day-to-day life, like what your passions are, and then try looking for a book that kind of would tie that in somehow, you know, because if you're not interested in, you know, planets and sci-fi fantasy and psychedelics and whatever, maybe reading Dune is not the best starting point. But perhaps there is something like, you know, you love Norway and you love, and maybe grief is an emotion that you're very interested in. Well, then, you know, the Ice Palace would be perhaps be much better. It's very hard for me to recommend books without knowing someone because I want to give good recommendations. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster. Have you read Wilbur Smith before? I have not. When another Witcher book review, I'm going to try by the end of February. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Oh, this is my friend Levy. Levy, I love you so much. Do you like something from Brazil, film, book? Okay, actually, so I'm going to be watching the Fernanda Torres film that was just nominated. So I'll be watching that. But if you have any book recommendations, do let me know. And I want to do more videos where I read books from like a certain country. So if there's like 4 books that you think are, you know, Brazil's magnum opus, do let me know, because then I, like, for my Kazuo Ishiguro video that I'm planning, I got the list for that video from a commenter. So if you pop it in a comment what books you think I should read for a video where I dive into like Brazilian literature, I will screenshot it and then I'll shout you out in the video. Do you plan to discuss any Polish authors besides Sapkowski and Lem? Yeah, I just need to think of I just need to think of an interesting video. I think I might do a video where I do like reading Polish, where I read like Russian, sorry, Polish classics. Sorry, I said Russian because I saw When the Winged Hussars Arrive. It's Winged Hussars. But okay. Vera, are you native Polish born? If yes, are you still residing in Poland? I am native Polish born, and I live in Poland for half the year at the moment. Okay. Sanderson or Abercrombie? Abercrombie. Abercrombie is my favorite. Um, oh, Levy. What's one good thing you can say about Farseer? Levy, we're not doing this. I'm so sick of talking about Farseer. If anyone talks to me about Farseer in the next 2 weeks, in the next month, I'm gonna lose it. I'm so sorry. I really don't want to keep talking about it. Have you played the game Frostpunk? I have not. For me, with video games, I'm more so a person that dives deep into one video game, not really jumps around between video games. So the ones that I know and love, I know and love them very well, but I don't really. Does that make sense? Why there is little radio play style books, audiobooks with many voices actors in English. There are so many in Polish. Oh, that I don't think that's a question for me. Okay, I'm gonna skip to the end and see if there are. Oh my God, rank all the evolutions. Tom. Oh my God, I should. Okay, I love the evolutions. So obviously, Espion is number one. I guess Umbreon is quite high. I think Vaporeon is so overrated, okay? And I don't know. I think like the core three, I don't love them that much. Sylveon, I think, is like on the lower end as well. I'm just purely talking like design wise, okay? I think the design for Leafeon always like catches my eye, and same thing with Glaceon. But like Espeon is so cool, and Espeon is my favorite, and it always is on top. Yeah. Okay. Maybe maybe I'll prepare and I'll do a proper one next time. We'll see. Let me just scroll back a few. The answer to this is I want to. So why do I have the Valia RNL thing instead of Vera as my YouTube at? Essentially, I do want some sort of separation between me as a person and this, just for like my mental sanity. And I don't want myself to be like easily discoverable, or like too easily discoverable, I guess. And so this is mostly for like my mental sanity. And also like this actually started off because when I was on Goodreads, and I've been on Goodreads for years, my mom was very scared of like privacy and stuff, and so she didn't allow me to use my name. And so the same V and the R, V and Vera, Anyway, will you do a playthrough of Red Dead 2 on your channel? Oh, yes. Okay, actually, so this is a really good question, and I'm so glad that I noticed it. So an idea that I do have for for the Patreon as well is that people want me to do the playthroughs and stuff. I don't really want to do the playthroughs. You know, I have performance anxiety. It's so stressful. I also don't have like a gaming setup in Ireland, so I'd have to like buy all that. And yeah, so just a lot of stuff. However, because I really want to make like the Patreon price tag worth it, I was thinking of, and this couldn't be on like I don't know how often, but I would maybe try to do like a playthrough or like, I don't know, like couple hours of streaming of a game per month that would just be Patreon exclusive. I don't know. I'm still thinking because that one is much harder for me to do than the movie uh, movie club instead of book club movie club. I don't know, but I think it could be like a cool bonus. But again, I'd need to think of the logistics of that just because like I don't have a gaming setup in Ireland. So, but it is something that's also on my mind. Oh my gosh, Daniel Green was here as well. Hello, Daniel. Okay. Do, 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 do. Are there any more questions? I don't think there are any more questions, and my head is killing me. And so, so oh, here from Sebastian Miedzinski. Are you still looking for an editor? So I have been in contact with a couple of people, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put out because I know that like editors have probably loads of different channels that they are working with, and um, I and so I don't want to just like know one person because what if I really need a video and they're like really busy? I also don't want to like steal editors from like other channels and stuff. So Nick, I love you, but you're very busy. And so I don't want to be like stealing you. Though Nick, I'm in contact with Nick. But and so I'm looking around. There are a few people that I am in contact with at the moment, but I want maybe like two editors that like I'm in contact with and can kind of like ping pong between. And so I'll probably be putting out like a hiring call. I'm not really sure what it's called, but I'm gonna record like a really short clip to test edit, and then I'll see who kind of matches my style the most. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Um, I hope. Oh, I hope that explains a little bit. Um, where can I get a Claudia for myself? I bought Claudia in Krakow, but I'm sure you can find them in many, many places. And super chat, sorry. 2 seconds, let me get it. Boop, here, okay. No, not that one, this one. Thank you so much, Razvan. I think, actually, I recognize you as well. You're showing up again and again. It's really cool for me when I start to recognize new people. It makes me very happy. In January, I read White Knights, The Emperor's Soul, and Brave New World at your recommendation. All 5 out of 5 totally made my month. Thank you. This makes me so happy. Yeah, I love all of those works. And I think they prove that you don't need to be so long to provide something meaningful to the reader. And yeah, I love all 3 of those. And I'm so happy that you liked them as well. I actually have gotten a few comments that said that people started reading because they found this channel, and that really, it feels crazy because okay, I look at channels like Talking Story, and they have built such a beautiful, beautiful community, and they have so much feedback and so much interaction, like with their Patreon members, and John responds to every single comment, which for me, I just can't do that anymore because they get so overwhelming. Or I look at like To Ramble, and I feel like so many other channels like revere them and stuff. And I kind of feel like an outsider sometimes. Um, but it's comments like this one right here, or the comments that say, "You made me like pick up a book again. You made me look at The Witcher in a different light." Stuff like that. That I'm just like, it's beautiful. Like it's so beautiful, and it just makes me so happy. So thank you so much, everyone, because you've really made this past year so very special. So yeah, okay. I think that's all for now. Um, my headache is killing me, and I really need to go find painkillers because but I'm not losing my vision yet, so hopefully it's not a migraine. Um, but yeah, thank you all so much for watching this Vera and Reverie. As usual, I kind of went over time. I am very sorry, Maya. But thank you all for watching. I hope it was entertaining, and I'll see you in February. Bye bye.